If you want to find out where Maine's ultra wealthy are choosing to live, listen up, because only a few homes over $10 million have sold in the past 365 days. So let's find out where they are. So in the past 365 days, only 4 homes have sold in the state of Maine over $10 million. So we have a home for $10.1 million in Bar Harbor, $11.5 million in Scarborough, $12 million in Kennebunkport, and $13.4 million in Cape Elizabeth. Now, again, this is only the past year, and it probably doesn't come at much of a shock to you to find out that all of these homes are in coastal towns or directly on the coast. And if you want to look at homes that are under, say, 5 million, there's obviously a lot more to look at here. And if you look at the map, you're going to notice similar trends. Most of these homes are on the coast or in coastal towns. That's not to say that there aren't any anomalies in, inland ways, or maybe closer to Bangor or Augusta, the bigger cities, but generally speaking, follow the coast. And while this isn't a video about necessarily where you should be investing, a lot of people like to look at these trends to figure out where they want their investment homes to be near. So let's chat quickly about what areas tend to be the best investments that also kind of attract, on a similar note, more expensive, more high-end homes. So if you're looking to invest in a more high-end area, the coast is a great place to look and a great place to start. That's not to say that all of the homes on the coast are exactly the same. Really, they vary quite a bit, and they are all quite a bit different depending on where you're looking. If you're looking down east, mid-coast, greater Portland, southern Maine, all of them have very different feels and attract, different kinds of people. Like, for example, the southern Maine coast tends to be a lot more touristy. But generally speaking, you're going to find more high-end homes directly on the coast, generally speaking, waterfront, golf courses, ski resorts, and truly kind of the more obvious areas where you would find more expensive homes. Now, obviously over 10 million is a lot of money. Over 5 million is a lot of money. And to be honest, when we're talking about the Maine real estate market, we don't have a lot of homes at that price point. Like I said, only 4 over 10 million in the last 365 days. Maine is not really a hot spot for, the mega wealthy. We don't have a lot of homes that are up at that price point. And quite frankly, you could put a massive home right on the coast, but being able to price something at that price point and sell it is more difficult in Maine than it is in, say, the big city, obviously. Our real estate market, we're really not there. While Maine is a beautiful place to live and a beautiful destination to visit, our real estate market, generally speaking, when we're talking about, the really expensive homes in Maine, for the most part, they're the beach homes right along the coast that are anywhere from, I would say, 1 million to 4 million in my specific area. There are anomalies like these $10 million homes, 10 million plus, but generally speaking, our real estate market, for the most part, is not like that. These are truly the ultra wealthy, the most luxurious homes that you can buy in the state of Maine. Of course, that's a matter of opinion, but by price point, definitely the most expensive. Now, the towns that I touched on, like Bar Harbor, Kennebunkport, these are very expensive towns to live in. So that kind of begs the question, not even really a question, most people would assume that the everyday individual cannot afford to live in these areas. And while there is some truth to that, I also kind of consider it a false statement. So let's take Kennebunkport, for example. I live in Sanford. I live about 35 minutes from downtown Kennebunkport. And Sanford, you can check on Zillow, is a very different area real estate wise than Kennebunkport is, than Kennebunk is, than Wells is. The average home cost in all of those different towns is vastly different, and they all abut each other with the exception of Sanford and Kennebunkport. But generally speaking, let's take downtown Kennebunkport, for example. If you love that area and it is just way out of your price point, people are paying for that zip code to be in Kennebunkport. Kennebunk, directly next to Kennebunkport, they are 2 very different towns, is already at a cheaper price point, generally speaking, for real estate than Kennebunkport is. Wells, right next door to Kennebunk, is, generally speaking, less expensive to live in than Kennebunk. Sanford is less expensive than Wells. So you can still live within 30 minutes of downtown Kennebunkport and find a more affordable house to live in. Now, Southern Maine, and Maine in general, has an affordable housing problem right now, as with the rest of the country, obviously. But as far as what we in Southern Maine would consider to be affordable, you can absolutely find something that's more affordable within 30 minutes of downtown Kennebunkport to live and reside in, and still be within a commuting distance to, either work in the area, shop in the area, go out to eat in the area, and still enjoy it without being, a massive car ride away from there. And while some shops do shut down in the wintertime, generally speaking, a lot of restaurants and such are still open in the winter, and you get to enjoy things with less traffic on the roads. So you don't really have to factor in traffic being part of that 30 minutes for, a good chunk of the year. So that is where Maine's ultra wealthy choose to live. It probably doesn't come at much of a shock to you to find out that most of these are directly on the coast. Regardless, if you're planning a trip and you want to check out these areas, there are definitely destinations to visit. My personal opinion, I love Kennebunkport, but I'm also biased. I live near there. But Bar Harbor is an absolutely fantastic area to visit, Acadia National Park, and it's definitely one for your bucket list. My name's Margaret, and if you have any questions about this video or living in Southern Maine, feel free to reach out. All of our information is down below, and we'll see you next time.